All right. We are back here at Song of the Day, coming to you fireside from the Rock Cave. That can only mean one thing, right? It is Slowdown Sunday. Beautiful morning here in New England. And what are we talking about today? First of all, Slowdown Sunday. I do have a YouTube channel. It doesn't get a lot of views. That's fine. But, it's usually like 0, 3, 5. Sometimes it's 20. Sometimes it's 40. It's always interesting to watch which one gets the most. For a long time, it was Lane Staley's birthday that had the most, in a couple hundred views, which was impressive. But for some reason, go figure, someone commented on one of my Song of the Days from 4 months ago, and I looked at it, and people don't usually comment, but a lot of people have commented on my episode on Slowdown Sunday about the Carpenters of all things. People must love the Carpenters, I guess, or it's either that or you do a search on the Carpenters and for some reason my show comes up. But that has almost 700 views, which is really unbelievable. I can't explain it, but anyway, the Carpenters going strong. So along those lines, we're going back to this week in 1980. The number one song in all the land was by Air Supply, Lost in Love. Air Supply pretty much owned 1980 to 83. For 3 years, they were the biggest thing on the planet. I don't know if you guys remember this, but I was a kid, but my parents would have been in their, in their 30s or something. What was up with that, with the Air Supply? Anyway, let's talk about them for a second. Formed in 1975, an Englishman, Graham Russell, and an Australian, Russell Hitchcock. Two Russells. They could have come up with a name around that, couldn't they have? They met on a set of Jesus Christ Superstar, like so many people did along the way. And they formed a band. One or two of the band members ended up leaving and forming the band, the Divinals. You remember that band? They had that song Pleasure and Pain and I Touch Myself, if you remember that. Those are two early members of Air Supply. They put out a first single pretty early on, 75 or so, 76. It went to number 6. So they had a pretty good start. But then they went through a really slow period where they released singles that would not chart, weren't doing much. They opened up for Rod Stewart in 77. They opened up for Boz Scaggs, I think, in Chicago. But in 79, they released a 5.5-minute version of the song Lost in Love, which did go to number 13 in Australia and New Zealand, but was not released in the United States. But none other than Clive Davis got a hold of it and remixed it, had them re-record it, released it as a single, and that's when things really got started in January of 1980. It became a worldwide smash, selling something like 3 million copies in the United States. The album of the same name, Lost in Love, sold 3 million copies. 7 million copies of one of their singles. They just kept releasing single after single. They had Lost in Love, they had 81, The One That You Love, 82, Now and Forever. And by 83, they had a greatest hits. There were nobody in 80, and by 83, they had put out 3 albums, greatest hits. Each of their albums had 3 top singles. Each of those albums had 3. The first 2 had 3 top 10 singles, and the third one that was big had 1 top 5 and 2 top 40. So they just had a massive amount of songs, and that's why they were able to make a greatest hits, which was huge. That greatest hits in 83, that had a new single on it, Making Love Out of Nothing at All. We talked about this. Remember, that's a Jim Steinman record who wrote all Meatloaf stuff. And they had a falling out, and that song could have been a Meatloaf song. You can picture him totally singing this song, but when you listen to this song, it sounds like a Meatloaf song. And at the same time, he had done Bonnie Tyler's Total Eclipse of the Heart and Holding Out for a Hero from her. But that Total Eclipse of the Heart was number 1, and Making Love Out of Nothing at All was number 2. You listen to those 2 songs, and they sound exactly alike. It's amazing. It's all Jim Steinman all over the place, and that was a big deal for him to have those 2 there. As far as their hits are concerned, we'll notice a little theme here. Lost in Love, The One That You Love, Making Love Out of Nothing at All, The Power of Love, Sweet Dreams, that's a good one. Forget about that one. Even the Nights Are Better, of course, that's a good one. Every Woman in the World, Here I Am, Lonely is the Night. The Power of Love was covered by Celine Dion and Laura Branigan. But these are all staples on yacht rock radio. What's not to like about a little Air Supply? You know, it's good stuff to listen to. Pull out their greatest hits and play it this morning. If I'm picking a song of the day, it's got to be that Making Love Out of Nothing at All with that Jim Steinman sound. That's your song of the day. All right, we're at 5.5, 6 minutes. Play some Air Supply today if you dare. No one's watching. Have a good Sunday, and as usual, I'll catch you on the flip side.